Okay, so you decided that 2026 is the year that you're going to open your law firm. You've made that decision for yourself. You decided that you are ready. And so now you're trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And when am I going to do it? So let's talk about kind of what the initial broad steps are going to be for you to open your law firm in 2026. The first thing we need to do is actually pick your date. So if that's January 1st, if that's March 1st, if that's June 1st, whatever that date is, we need to pick that date and get it on the calendar because you're going to be working backwards from that date. So thing number one for you to do is to actually pick that date when your law firm is going to open. Once you have decided on that date, the next thing we need to do that I think is the next step here is to claim your digital space. So, figuring out what the name of your law firm is going to be, making sure the website is available. If it is, buying that domain, buying the email, claiming all the social media spaces in your firm's name. You may or may not use all of this, right? But I would still claim it so you have it, especially if it's your law firm's name and it's available. You want to claim all those things. So, your Facebook, your Instagram, the YouTube, X, LinkedIn, all those platforms, you need to claim your digital space in the name of your law firm so you have that. So the next thing that I would decide my practice areas. And so for most of my fellows, they're going to have more than one practice area, but for some fellows within that practice area, they have like specialties. So one that comes to mind is like personal injury or maybe like immigration. Those attorneys that I work with, usually that is their practice area, and then they have specialties within that practice area as far as certain types of work. So like for immigration, there can be certain type of visas that they work on, or for PI, maybe there's certain types of PI cases. But for a lot of my consumer type, they will have more than one practice area. For myself, I shared with you, I do estate planning, probate, and real estate. I used to also do a large amount of bankruptcy. I really have scaled that back to just doing estate planning and some residential real estate, and then I'll do probate as well. And so having more than one practice area definitely helps if you have a practice area that can be market driven, right? Where it can be very either seasonal or it may have ebbs and flows with the market. So you may want to have more than one practice area, but whatever that is for you, you want to decide what that's. Then I would start making content for that practice area. It can be videos, it can be blogs, it can just be the pages of your website. Whatever you're going to do to get yourself in front of people, to let them know how you can help them solve their problem, right? The focus is not so much on what you do. The focus should be on the client and what problems that client is having and how you can solve those problems, right? And so that's going to be the focus of your content that you're building out. You're answering FAQs. A great website to do this on is called answertopublic.com. You can type in like a term or question, and they'll give you a list of like 30, 40, 50 questions in that realm that people are searching online that will really help you and give you some direction as far as content to make. Also, Google will give you like suggested search terms or questions as well if you lurk there. So you want to do your homework to figure out what questions are people asking, how can I get myself in front of them to answer the questions that they have. Along these same lines, you should also have a business plan for your law firm. And so I have a free one for you that's linked down below. You get that for free. There's no charge for that. And that's going to really help you walk through those first initial steps, especially when it comes to the money, right? What is it going to cost you to open your law firm? And then what is it going to cost you to operate your law firm every month? We also work through figuring out who your ideal client is, how we're going to get in front of them, expanding your network, building your practice, and you want to make sure you have a strong foundation for the new law firm that you're building. So make sure you have a business plan, and if not, get your free one down below. So that's step 4 is building out your business plan, really laying that foundation for your new law firm. And then I think it depends on what you're doing because we want to start telling people who are in your network that you're going out on your own and what you'll be doing. So we want to make the list that you should have of all of your contacts, who's in your network, kind of who those people are in your world as far as making sure that you let them know what you're doing. But when you start doing that can depend on how soon you plan to go solo and what you're doing right now, right? If you're currently an employee at a firm and you're going out on your own, and you plan to go out 90 days from now, it might be a little bit too early for you to start telling people that you're opening your own law firm, right? Because you probably haven't even told your current employer yet. If you are in law school, right, and your plan is just to jump into going solo, you can start telling people now what you're going to do and what the plan is, right? And so if you are doing what I did, what I went out on my own, is that I was leaving a small law firm to go out onto my own. And so I didn't really tell people that I was opening my own law firm until I told my employer, right? I didn't want my employer to find out from somebody else that I was going out on my own. And I gave my employer 2 weeks notice that I was leaving. I didn't give a lot of lead time. I didn't know what the reaction was going to be when I went out on my own. I didn't know what kind of response I was going to get. I didn't know if she was going to tell me just to get out that day, right? That does happen sometimes. And so if you are leaving a current firm to go out on your own, just know that when you tell your employer that you are leaving and they find out you're going out on your own, you may not have as much time as you think you do. So I didn't give more notice, like a month's notice, because I wasn't ready to go out on my own yet, a month out, right? So I waited until I was 2 weeks out so that in the event that she did tell me that I needed to just go that day, I could go that day and jump into my own law firm. That didn't happen. I gave 2 weeks notice. I worked those full 2 weeks. But just in the event that happened, I wanted to be prepared, so I didn't give too much notice. And so if you are leaving a current firm to go out on your own, you should start telling people once you have told your boss. But up until that point, you should be making a very long list of who you know, and not just people who you think can refer to you, because sometimes you never know where business can come from. So we want to make a list of everyone that we know that we should start telling that we're going out on our own when you are ready to start telling people that you're going out on your own. So you want to have that list. I make it as like a Google Doc, something that you can very easily add to, edit, and things like that as you continue to grow your sphere of influence and your sphere of who is in your network. And so those are the top few things that I would do if I was going out on my own in 2026. That's how I would prepare myself. Picking my date, getting my business firm name, cleaning all my digital space, getting my website, getting my email, figuring out my practice areas, making content, because once you're out on your own, you're going to be very busy with actually practicing law and running the business. And so you're going to have less time for content. Getting my business plan, getting that document I have for you, I think it's like 8 pages long. And you just fill that out. Like, it's very fill in the blank to kind of help give you some structure to your law firm and what it's going to look like. And then making your network contact list and telling everyone that you know that you're going out on your own, what you're doing, what problems you're going to help your customers with. And so that kind of is a short version of what that should look like. If you're going out on your own in 2026, congrats on making that decision. That was like one of the biggest decisions I made for myself in my career. One that was the best decision that I ever made, but definitely one of the scariest ones also. I've been on my own for almost 10 years now since I went out on my own, and again, was the best decision that I could have made for myself. And has been the most rewarding, has been certainly the scariest, but so worth it. And at this point, I can tell you I would never work for someone else's law firm again. Like, that just would not be a good fit for me and what I need in my law firm. And so if you need some more motivation, some more support, some more guidance and going out on your own, make sure you stick around here. We talk about all things opening the law firm, juggling personal life and work life and motherhood, and trying to show up for yourself and have a career that's fulfilling but allows you the life that you want to live. And also just some of the how-tos, because a lot of us, we never learned how to run a business in law school. We learned how to be a great lawyer, but we don't know anything about how to run a business. And so I've kind of learned that the hard way over these past 10 years. And so I'm here to help you fast track your growth and avoid some of the mistakes that I've made by sharing my experience. So I hope that helps. If so, give a like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right.